These are 20 tiny habits that made me rich in my 30s. Let's jump into it. And don't mind the random gameplay we're showing here and there. We're just a bunch of nerds trying to help other nerds be rich. Habit number 1, pay yourself first. Every time I got a paycheck when I was younger, I'd immediately buy all the things I wanted. It was usually video games and guitar equipment. Then I'd save whatever's left over, which was nothing. The main reason we suck at saving money is because we don't have a system in place. So for example, my wife and I, we figured out how much we need to save each month, take care of that, and we just spend the rest guilt-free, which means I get to buy all the boba I want. Now, according to Vanguard, people who automate their savings build 10 times more wealth over time. Habit number 2, avoid obsessing over your stock portfolio. Unless your investments are generating more money than your savings each year, our number 1 priority is increasing our income and savings. This is called the Saving and Investing Continuum from a book called Just Keep Buying by Nick Majuli? Sorry, Nick, if I butchered your name. And get this, 90% of active fund managers can't even beat the S&P 500. So it's highly unlikely that your custom-built stock portfolio that you've done tons of research on will beat the S&P either. Let's just keep things simple and invest in index funds. Habit number 3, set input-based goals. So imagine you're trying to rank up in a video game and you say to yourself, my goal is to reach gold rank in 3 months. This is an output-based goal that you don't really have direct control over. Instead, commit to practicing 1 hour a day for the next 6 months, for example. This is an input-based goal that you have complete control over. We want to focus on actions, not outcomes. This is how you climb in life and in games. Habit number 4, caring less about what others think. I wish I understood human psychology earlier because I would have known that no one gives a shit about you, and not in the way that you think. Everyone's worried about themselves, and that is by design. It's literally how our brains are wired, and it's how we and other animals have survived. If I cared what everyone thought of me, I wouldn't be able to do this, and this has literally changed my life. Guys, trust me, no one's thinking about you as much as you think they are. Habit number 5, building skills and relationships. If you want to make money in life, there are 2 things you need: skills and a network. Skills are what people pay for. The better you are at a certain set of skills, the more you can earn, especially if those skills are difficult to master. However, being an expert will only get you so far. Having a strong network will create opportunities for you. The reason I was able to land various jobs making multiple 6 figures in my career was because I had a strong network of people who referred me to jobs. So think of your skills as stats and your relationships as buffs. Habit number 6, lifelong learning. The biggest mistake people make after they graduate college? Thinking they're done. I was only able to become a content creator because I kept learning. Lighting, cameras, scripts, editing, algorithms. And with how insanely fast AI is advancing, now is not the time to be complacent. So adopt a lifelong learning mindset and you will thrive. Moving along to habit number 7, avoid perfectionism. If you go to the gym once a week and you do a single rep of the heaviest weight possible, and that's it, are you gonna build muscle? That'd be nice, right? But no, you need to do multiple sets of 8 to 10 reps and struggle. I made hundreds of awful videos before I started making better ones. Scroll to the bottom of my profile to see for yourself. It's cringy as hell, but it's also a nice reminder to see how far I've come. So let's stop over planning and perfecting everything we do, because good enough is always better than perfect. Habit number 8, that is 8 in Spanish, live below your means. Imagine a surgeon who makes $700,000 per year and a janitor who's going to be richer by the time they retired. You would think the surgeon, right? The book The Millionaire Next Door talks about this surgeon who made $700,000 per year, yet their net worth was nearly non-existent because of the glamorous lifestyle they were living. Meanwhile, a janitor from the 1950s named Ronald Reed died in 2014 with a net worth of $8 million. It doesn't matter how much you make, only what you save. Habit number 9, invest regularly. Timing the stock market is tempting, but it's a guaranteed way to miss out on building tremendous wealth. According to JP Morgan, missing the 10 best days of the stock market can cut your returns in half. Stock traders are notorious for this, and as a result, 95% of them lose money. Same with crypto traders, forex traders, and sports gamblers. The best investment strategy is called lump sum investing. If you have a stack of cash, you want to invest that immediately. If not, totally fine. Dollar cost averaging is the next best strategy. Pick an amount that you want to invest each month and commit to it, no matter what. Guys, these are the strategies that helped me build $1 million net worth by my 30s. Tiny habit number 10, avoid the car trap. Americans have $1.6 trillion in auto loans with an average car payment of $742 per month. And that's before insurance, fuel, and maintenance. Meanwhile, the median income is only $57,000 per year. So so that math doesn't math. On top of that, brand new cars lose 10% of their value in the first year and up to 60% over 5 years. So buying used cars will almost always save you more money, and buying cash will save you money on interest. Habit number 11, always have money saved for emergencies. Around 40% of people don't have an emergency fund, meaning that when they have an unexpected expense like a car repair, they have to go into debt for it, which could eventually lead to a poverty trap. We want at least 6 months worth of expenses tucked away in either a high yield savings or money market fund. If you can't do 6, do 3, 2, 1, do something. I know it's not sexy, but if you don't have this cushion, you will get wrecked. Tiny habit number 12, automate your finances. Earlier, I talked about paying yourself first and automating that process. You can do this with 401k contributions, configuring direct deposit to automatically send money to your high yield savings account, and automate a transfer to your Roth IRA. And if you're still paying bills manually, you gotta set up auto pay, especially for debt payments like credit cards, because if you miss those, you're gonna pay fees and jack up your credit. Number 13, take breaks. Imagine you sign up for a marathon. As soon as it starts, are you going to sprint 26 miles to the finish line? Of course not. You're going to gas yourself out, and it's going to take you even longer to finish. Last year, I burned out pretty hard, and as a result, I had to take an extended break, which I know is a privilege, but it was because I didn't take breaks and learned to pace myself. I know you're dying to get to your goal, but slow down and learn to enjoy the process. Habit number 14, forming accountability groups. When I first started on social media, I felt alone, lost, and eventually unmotivated. That was until this random guy named Jake messaged me to form an accountability group with some other guy named Jabari. Shout out to Jake and Jabari, love you guys. This group was life-changing. We met every week, helped each other with content, set goals, and kept each other accountable. There were times where we even put money on the line, so if I didn't create enough videos for the week, we'd pay each other $50. Guys, life is a multiplayer game. There's no need to solo queue. Number 15, don't tell anyone about your goals. I used to announce every goal I set. I'm gonna start a YouTube channel. I'm gonna go to the gym every day. Every time I did this, I felt that sweet, sweet dopamine like I'd already accomplished the goal. But here's the kicker. I rarely follow through. Sound familiar? A study from NYU found that people who kept their goals private were significantly more likely to achieve them compared to those who announced them. Why? Because talking tricks your brain into thinking like you've already done the work. Guys, successful people don't just talk about it, they show up regularly. Habit number 16, choosing the harder path. Imagine you go on a hike and there are 2 paths. Path 1 is short and effortless, but also crowded and not very exciting. Path number 2 is incredibly challenging. Not only will it take longer, but you're gonna break a sweat. But it has fewer people on it, better views, and will provide better exercise. This directly applies to college majors and careers. The more challenging ones often come with a higher pay and more opportunities. Everyone wants the easy option, but rarely is it the best one. Tiny habit number 17, get 1% better every day. I learned this from a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear, which I highly recommend you read. Most people have the habit of setting these large, ambitious goals and then taking these really large leaps to get there quickly. I mean, it sounds reasonable, right? But in reality, it leads to burnout, frustration, and failure. Instead, let's focus on continuous improvement by slowly and slightly adjusting our regular, everyday habits and behaviors. As the author of the book puts it, if you get 1% better every day for 1 year, you'll end up 37 times better by the time you're done. In other words, compounding doesn't just apply to money, but also habits. Number 18, prioritize experiences over stuff. So when I was younger, I used to think that buying cars and other toys is what brought happiness, but that can be a formula for staying broke and unhappy. There's a book called The Psychology of Money, which I talk about all the time. And in this book, the author talks about how experiences and the freedom of owning your time are what often lead to greater long-term happiness, as opposed to materialism. TLDR, it's not stuff, it's freedom, time, and connection. Number 19, talk regularly about your finances with your partner. So currently here in the US, our divorce rate is over 50%. And one of the leading contributors to divorce is money. Growing up, my parents were constantly arguing about money. The main reason for this is because they never sat down, planned, and aligned. Instead, they were always in reaction mode. Now, even if you're single, I want you to sit down once a month and just go through your finances. Make sure you have some clarity. The last and final habit, this one's my favorite, spend your money. Hoarding all your money for no reason is like saving all of your in-game currency and never buying skins. We should all think of money as a tool, not a trophy. So please don't wait until you're 65 years old to enjoy life. After you pay yourself, spend the rest of your money guilt-free on whatever you want, even if someone else tells you that it's a waste of money. I don't know about you guys, but when I'm on my deathbed, I want two stats to be zero: my bank account balance and my regrets. Speaking of regret, you might experience it if you don't watch this 5-minute video on how to become rich, even if you're starting from zero.